All right, so what does it take to be a man? Now, me personally, throughout my life, I really haven't had a father around. So I've been fortunate enough to have a clean slate on my viewpoint as what a man should be. So with this clean slate, I've been able to come up with, like I said, my own perception of what a man should be. And I came up with this through my own experiences and through the people that I look up to on a daily basis who are successful and who have done great things. Now, within all these people that I look up to, they hold a ton of common traits that I have used myself to create the embodiment of what I think a man should be and who I want to be in the future. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over those traits that I have found very common in the men that inspire me and who I want to be. Now, the first ability I think every man should have is the ability to stick by their word. Now, believe it or not, words go a long way, and words hold a ton of power. I mean, when you say something as a man, you should mean it. Now, what I've done is I've made a ranking of the most powerful things that you can send into the universe. All right, and the ranking goes like this: top three. All right, the first one, the most powerful, is thoughts. The second one, the second most powerful, is action, and then the third most powerful thing you can send into the universe is words. And I mean, as far as words, there's already a ton of noise that we hear on a regular basis. Okay, every second there's a new TikTok to scroll through. Every minute there's a new YouTube video to be played. Every hour there's more music that is going to hit our ears. Every day there's some new BS on the media that we have to see, and it affects our world. You saying more words with no action being taken and no positivity included in them is just adding on to the hell on earth that we already have, and you're doing a disservice to society. So as a man, like I said, you should stick by your word. And yeah, now the second trait that I think is in all great men is the ability to show respect. Now for me, I don't know about anyone else, but ever since I was 4 or 5 years old, once I was taught the golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated, it really helped me actually do what I do nowadays. I think you should show some respect to everyone. I think you should show some class within yourself. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Structure yourself so that you are actually more positive when it comes to just meeting new people. All right, have some humility. Okay, recognize everyone's individuality and respect them and what they do. Okay, you should respect people's opinions. You should respect people's perceptions. You should respect people's perspectives and their thoughts. And there's no reason to be disrespectful unless you've been disrespected. And I mean, if we all collectively choose to be respectful to each other, then I mean, we're on the right road already. And I mean, if you can't respect someone's views, if you feel like you need to retaliate on any type of manner and you can't just have a one-on-one conversation, maybe you need to do some deep thinking or maybe some deep self-resolvence in order to, fix the way you treat other humans. But yeah, so every man should show respect onto one another. All right. Now, the third trait that lies within every single great man that I've seen so far is their ability to be coachable and their ability to want to acquire more knowledge. Now, especially if you're young, okay, if you're a teenager, a young man, early 20s, late teens, okay, this is the period of learning. Your goal should be to consume as much knowledge as you can, take action on it, and use it to follow in the footsteps of the people who you want to walk the same path of. I've never understood arrogant young men who, repel advice from people who are older than them. I mean, whether it's good or bad, you can take that advice, sift through the sand, and then find the gold that you can implement into your own life and create a change in. All right. There's a ton of mistakes to learn from every single person out there. And I think that if we all, especially as young people, manage to listen to those that are older than us, we'd be able to prosper together. It'd be way easier for our generation to, create some great change. And then on the topic of being more knowledgeable, okay, I have a little test that I want each of you to make if you can, if you want to. Basically, find a library, walk into it, okay? And then I want you to count how many people of our age are in that library, sitting down, reading, acquiring more knowledge. There's none, okay? It makes no sense. Like, libraries are the center of where people share their life stories and the mistakes that they made, and they give you a trajectory that can help you on your path through life. And it only takes about a 3 to 8 hour span of reading in order to learn something that can alter your direction. But the sad thing is, our generation has chosen to fry their brains and their attention spans with constant TikToks, constant dopamine hits, constant distraction from the real world. I personally believe the best thing that we can do as a human race is try to make it easier for the next generation coming up. but we're not really getting anywhere by killing our minds in the ways that we do. So, like I said, acquiring more knowledge in the form of actually taking the time to read books, taking the time to, like I said, listen to others' advice, taking the time to be coachable and realize that you don't know it all. There's a very, very nice saying that I've heard. It's called, the more I find out, the dumber I feel, or something like that. Basically, it's saying the more you expand your mind and, actually become more competent and conscious of what's going on, the dumber you feel, because you realize that there's more to learn. All right. This is the mindset that I think all of us younger men should have. Now, the fourth trait that I think every man should have is the ability to be assertive. Okay. I find a ton of inspiration in the men that I look up to because of their ability to value their time, the ability to value their money, the ability to value the ones that they love, and the ability to find the things that they find meaning in. I mean, if you're nonchalant about your life and you let others walk all over you and you adhere to everything everyone else has to say, you're really not going to have any direction. You're going to be spun in a million different ways. And most of the time, the people that you are listening to, they really don't have a purpose. They don't have goals. So you need to create your own. And then through that, figure out exactly what you need to do to get to where you want to be. And then, you're good to go. And the biggest thing that you don't want to do is miss out on time. Okay. Missing out on the time that you could have spent working on what you need to, missing out on the money that you could have made to help impact others. And I'm talking to my past self on this too, because, I used to adhere to what other people wanted on a regular basis. It was like I never had my own direction, so I'd always, follow others. Eventually looking back now, I realized that those things were stopping me from blossoming into who I am today and to who I will be in the future. You don't get into leadership roles without recognizing that you have a purpose and you have a goal in mind. It's through having that desire to get to where you want to be and then using that as a driving factor to drive the people that you're working with that gets you into those roles where you can actually be more assertive, take action, divert others into, a greater good. Okay. So yeah, once again, being assertive is very important. Okay. Show value in what you do, show value in who you care about, show value in the things that mean a lot to you. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be the one in that casket by yourself. And if you haven't really lived life the way that you need to, that you should be, then you've just done a disservice and you've wasted a life. Now, the fifth and final thing that I think every man should go through, I think every man is already born into, but it's up to us to actually thrive in it and, do good in our lives through it, is pain. All for it, we weren't born into validation or acceptance. So what we have to do is earn it. Now, this means that we must go through pain, we must go through fire in order to gain these things such as validation and acceptance. Now, in all of us men, we have the seeds planted of intuition and the wantingness to grow. Now, I can't count on my hands how many times I've had conversations with other men talking about how, when we grow up, we're going to have a dream house, we're going to be successful, we're going to do great things. These are the things that are common in all of us. Now, none of us comfortably sit back and actually watch those that are successful and don't feel some type of way because we aren't there with them. We know that we are meant to do bigger things than what we are doing currently. We know that our current situation is unfavorable and we need to get out of it. So you stopping yourself from actually taking action, going through pain, going through fire is the thing that's setting you back, okay? And pain brings all that you really need as a man. Pain brings wisdom, it brings knowledge, it brings stability, it brings respect, it brings life. So yeah, I think pain is very important. I think walking through the fire is probably the biggest thing that you can do as a man. It's the most rewarding thing that you can do as a human in general. And like I said, I think the most important thing is apply yourself into it, thrive in it, and then recognize that this is going to be your vehicle that takes you to where you want to go. Now, to end this video, I do want to remind that everything that I share in this and all of my other videos are just my thoughts. Now, whether you agree, relate, or resonate with what I'm saying, that's up to you. But please recognize that these thoughts are malleable. Of course, I am malleable, so I will change, a couple years from now. These are things that are constantly changing. My thoughts are constantly changing. So whether I feel the same about these things or not later on, I don't know. We'll see. But I do appreciate you for listening, and, thank you for sticking around. And then also real quick, I do want to give a quick shout out to the women out there. You guys have put in massive amounts of pain in the past 30 years to create insane changes. Now, I respect everything that you guys are doing, and I love all of it. Now, I think it's time for us men to recognize our greatness that lies within each of us, and then all of us collectively as a human race make it better for the youth and the children that are coming up. All right? So that's all I had to really say. Thank you for listening. I'll speak to you soon, and it's time to take action.